Hello everybody, how are you all doing? This is Con Over coming to you with another episode of Company of Heroes 2 Fight Night. And what we have here is Crossing in the Woods here for 2v2 between Senor Telephonist up here playing these Soviets, as well as Inquisitor Anterra right here playing our good little buddies at Brits. And spawning down here in the south in the purple trunks we do have GH, I'm going to say wldwld4545 playing OKW. As well as another OKW player, Tab Urmel. I have to say, looking forward, I'm kind of excited for this. I haven't gotten too many Soviet games recently, and actually seeing a Soviet player for a change is actually a nice, refreshing change of pace. I will also say the Brit player by himself is starting off kind of in honestly, I was going to say standard, but now he's calling in that Bren carrier. But before we get into that, perhaps we'll take a quick look at commanders. So as you see already, Senior Telephonist has pulled in a support weapon Compania, and he's bringing along, let's see, Soviet combined arms army, as well as guard motor coordination tactics and shock rifle frontline tactics. Inquisitor Anterra, the Brits, like I said, has actually bringing along a mobile assault regiment for that land matchers. He's bringing along that Royal Engineer regiment. I hear fire going on already. Where's that fire coming from? Oh well, I guess we'll find that out in just a second. Bring on Royal Engineer Regiment, as well as a Special Weapons Regiment. So maybe we'll get to see a crocodile on the field today, or maybe we'll just see the land mattress instead. Both of them are getting a fair amount of play, but I think in the upcoming patch, I think the land mattress is getting a slight nerf. You might not want to quote me on that just yet, though. But alright, as the map moves to 50-50, let's take a quick look at the German side of things. So 4545's got Breakthrough Doctrine for that Jagdtiger. He's got Elite Armor Doctrine for the Sturmtiger. And he's got Special Operations Doctrine for that Infiltration Grenades. And looks like he's actually going to take the Elite Armor Doctrine against the Sturmtiger as well as that Panzer Commander. So we'll definitely see how that works for him so far. As we're going to take a quick look over here to the left-hand side, you see this little meat engagement going on between Pios and the Kubelwagen. But then again, at the same time, these concepts are coming in to kind of put some fire on this Kubelwagen, and this Jeep is not going to take too much fire. So, while that's happening, and while the Brits are over here taking and just fortifying that right-hand side, Urmel's bringing along Special Operations Doctrine for those STGs and those grenades. He's bringing along the Breakthrough Doctrine as well for the Jagdtigers, and he's also got the Scavenge Doctrine. So hopefully we'll get to see the Flak Panzer, my personal favorite for the light armored tank, let's say. But as I've said before, we are already seeing a lot of meeting fire happening back and forth here. It may seem possible that this Maxim's going to get forced away by these Sturmpios. And unless they make it safely into that house, that's definitely going to happen. Okay, but they do make it into the house, and it looks like those Germans are going to be forced away pretty darn quickly. Taking a quick look at the map as they're kind of developing so far. Like I said, we do have a 50-50 split coming along here. But at the same time, you do see the Germans kind of pushing up over here on this western side as the Kubelwagen itself shifts up towards the center looking for this cutoff to kind of isolate that eastern side. But it does not look like those Soviets will be denied. They are just going to force away these Volksgrenadiers any second now. They're taking tons of damage. And again, pushed away as Urmel calls in his first SWS. And it looks like already 4545 has brought in a battle group headquarters and is, probably my guess, is going to be upgrading that to a forward retreat point pretty quickly. At the same time, though, we do see his Kubelwagen is getting forced away with its Royal Engineers, which means that our British player has teched up to platoon command post, which my guess means he's probably going to be calling in that, did he? No, he did not. He's actually going for the Bofors. I actually thought he was going to bring in a little bit more firepower with the AEC, but that's not going to be the case at all. 479 to 500, the Germans have a slight lead in VPs. It's a 2-to-1 advantage for them right now. But I do not expect that to hold too much longer. I kind of expect these Soviets to be able to force these guys away any second now, but no, it turns out I'm completely wrong. The conscripts are forced back. These combat engineers are going to get forced back any second now. They go back as well. This Maxim's going to get forced away too, and out in the open is going to be a big issue for it. But just as I say that, another Maxim moves in and tries to take out this house, and that Kubelwagen needs to move out of there now before it takes too much fire. And alright, like I said before, this 4545 is trying to cut off these Brits over here to kind of isolate a lot of that supply income. And while a support gun does get called in for 4545, he loses one of his Kubelwagens already because of that upgraded Bren carrier. Luckily for them, though, we do see medics being posted up over here for the western side and the eastern side, so the Germans have definitely have an opportunity to have a much more forward retreating position, should that be the case. But yes, so a strong opening really by all players, a little bit disappointing in losing some of the equipment that has been lost. And this Maxim looks like it's going to get dropped maybe the entire way. If there's a focus fire on this, we could see a Maxim drop pretty early on. No, maybe. Oh yes, and there goes the Maxim at the same time. So Senior Telephonist is actually starting to get his it might be better for him to kind of take a little more of a easier break into this particular map. Right now, he's getting a lot of losses right now. It's the smallest of all army sizes on the maps, and the allies themselves are getting knocked around just a wee bit. Nevertheless, he does recap that second Maxim and retreats pretty darn quickly, trying to make sure that he kind of keeps things kind of a relatively even keel. But yes, where does that put us for the rest of things? Ooh, interesting. We actually see a anti-aircraft half-track coming out for 4545. You don't really tend to see this very often because that long setup time definitely makes it a little bit less than completely utilitarian. A lot of the targets that you would see it being effective against, they tend to get out of the way pretty darn quickly. But alright, I'm focusing over here a little bit too much on this western side, but just there's a lot of action going on over here. I will say at the same time, take a quick look over here on the eastern side, we do see this Bofors actually has gone up. And while 4545 is bringing in an infrared half-track to kind of support his indirect fire opportunities, I'm not sure the immediate utility. At the same time, though, it looks like that Brenkier does get knocked out, and these Tommies are going to take a lot more fire backing off here. And I'm surprised this Kubelwagen has this kind of like micro issue, kind of trying to pick these guys off. But then again, nope. Any models drop? No models drop. Whew. So tons of action going on right now. 437 to 500, taking out this cache right here in the middle of the fuel cache. Probably a good thing to have as the immediate ally players, but at the same time, they are definitely going to be taking a lot of uncomfortable fire. Unfortunately for them, even as they said, that Bofors on the eastern side is dropping in that indirect, what's it called? I can't think what that thing's called. It is called Suppressive Barrage, thank you. So dropping a Suppressive Barrage over here right in the center of the map to kind of force away these allied troops, these Axis troops, excuse me. But that being said, we do see this 2-centimeter anti-aircraft gun kind of shifting back up here again, probably going to easily take this out, and probably put some fire on these Tommies and these conscripts right here. Oh, but gets forced away too quickly before anyone else kind of really gets in. I am surprised. Has he unlocked weapon racks? No, he has not unlocked weapon racks just yet. And although his Bofors is not coming under fire over here, I would say that the British player is still in a fairly decent position. Not too great. I mean, right now we do see, like I said, the Axis players do have a fairly dominant position in terms of army size as well as map positioning. But I can hear that 2-centimeter firing up again. But at the same time, it is still early in this game, and we definitely have a lot of opportunities for the Allies to kind of get back in this one. I will say this Kubelwagen is going to get forced away unless he wants to buy it. Nope, because it moves just out of range, and we're going to see this actually turn around to put fire on this Maxim. That might be a great idea. Yep, we see it rotate 180 degrees, and this Maxim starts to get blown apart, dropping a model immediately, and with not a whole lot of opportunity for any kind of support right now, he needs to retreat that pretty quickly, otherwise he might even get picked off. He's probably going to lose another model here, at least. But no, he pulls it back just in time. Take a quick overlook at the map at the same time again. We do see this infrared half-track is putting a lot of scouting over here on the eastern side of the map. And while these Volksgrenadiers are coming in, we do see a slight minor push by the time he's coming up the center part of the map. I will say also that Urmel has come for a much more quick Schwerpanzer headquarters, which is definitely a good idea. And actually, I even kind of like the placement. I would like to think that maybe the position might be a little bit better in terms of line of sight. As you can see right there, a couple of anti-tank guns could siege you down pretty quickly. Nevertheless, I cannot argue with the results that are happening right now on this given map. I will say at the same time, though, it looks like the British and the Soviets have been able to recap this center part of the map, which is great for them. And it sounds like there's a mortar pit that's been called in already, or is that a second Bofors? No, it's a mortar pit putting fire on this half-track, and this half-track needs to move out right now. Looks like he's going to lose it. Looks like he's going to... There we go. So that half-track does go down. So 4545 allowing a slight swing to happen in this combat in the center part of the map. However, even as I say that, these support guns are doing a lot of work on this mortar pit as well as this Bofors, but that might be the reason now he's going for Royal Engineer Regiment, which means that these are going to start to repair a little bit by themselves whenever they're really not being used. It is going to cost a fair amount of munitions for that, though. What is that, 50 munitions? So early on, it may not be a huge investment necessarily, but that will start to mount the more that these Axis players are able to put fire. What, alright, have we seen any tech up come from the Soviets? No, we still only see 2 tech buildings, support company, as well as the standard forces, which is a little bit disconcerting, I have to say. And while the Axis players have been forced back for a little bit and are starting to lose VPs, I cannot see this happening for too much longer. I definitely see another opportunity, even as they call in, wow, we are going full SimCity in this eastern part of the map right here. We see a second mortar emplacement, which I'm not entirely sure is maybe the best opportunity for this. I might have gone for a little bit more of a tech up at this point. Tons of fuel and a fair amount. He would have had a fair amount of manpower as well. I was going to call it requisition, but I'm thinking, man, it's the wrong franchise altogether. And this brace is definitely going to fall off pretty quickly. We got 4 seconds left on it. And this fire coming in already means that this mortar emplacement is not going to come in with full strength. And it looks like he might even get taken out even before he has a chance to fire. Yes, it does. So that manpower is completely and totally wasted. But yes, we do see this map kind of devolving into kind of what seems to be the standard for 2v2s. It kind of seems like 2 1v1s with some kind of meaty engagement between the players in the middle of the field. Well, luckily for them, we do see 4-5 kind of shifting forwards over here, picking on this lack of any kind of investment in the center part of this map. And good lord, I didn't even notice there's another support gun as well. Where is this support gun? Are we taking fire from over here, putting fire on those machine guns, I take it? Yes, he is, and I would actually have these guys move up pretty quickly because it can't be too much longer before they start taking a lot of fire. Of course, Urmel has decided to go for that special operations doctrine, so he's going for those infiltration grenades, which could be devastating, and honestly, I'm surprised I'm not seeing this kind of happen already. And if I were those Volks Grenadiers, yes, he moves back, so we do see a light retreat out of our OKW red player, but then again, we do see that now 4-5 has been picking on those anti-tank guns. Picks up a Zis gun that happened in the middle of the map, as well as decrews a 6-pounder. Frankly, I think he made a better opportunity taking the Zis gun over the 6-pounder because of that indirect fire capability. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, these, oh my gosh, the support gun's already got 2 stars, and even though this infrared half-track's taking some fire right now, yeah, I have to tell you, I'm not liking how this is looking so far for the Brit player. Unfortunately for them, they are still getting abused. It looks like it might be another opportunity for the Sheriff Panzer headquarters here, but it looks like they need to move somebody up here. So while the Soviets and the red OKW are taking a little bit of a break, now this line of fire on this line of sight, on this infantry support gun might allow that mortar emplacement to be a heck of a lot more accurate, which may not be too great for our German player. Then again, for some reason, there's a 3rd support gun over here. Good God. This would be quite the concentration of fire, and I might think we need to redeploy behind perhaps this woodpile. Unfortunately for them, we do see this infrared half-track has also spied out this Soviet push through the center. And although there's a infantry support gun here, as well as a couple Pioneer squads and stuff like that to move in to kind of support this, I might see this shifting back over to the Allied players. And yes, as I say that, even though both squads are in negative cover right now, first of all, maybe infiltration grenades might be a great idea. Yes, and here come those infiltration grenades. So these guys are definitely going to get rocked and socked. And good God, there gets dropped 3 models immediately right off the bat. And this maximum is not going to be enough to kind of turn this back around, I don't think. Even though this Panzerschreck decides to blow apart the tank trap that was right on this end of the map. But okay, so where does that leave us? We still see this SWS over here kind of sitting out in the wind. My guess is what's going to happen. He's going to actually deploy this. Nah, not to that. Probably into this. And continue to put a lot of pressure on this eastern side of the map. It might allow them to even make a push for this VP over here. Where is this suppressive fire coming down for this Bofors? I do not know. Okay, so that Bofors apparently not doing a whole lot at the moment. I would be a little more impressed to see a lot more concentration of fire being applied in a much more effective way. Oh, okay, that's what happened. They're putting fire on that Zis gun, preventing those OKW individuals from actually putting a lot more pressure on the emplacement. And interestingly enough, we do see the Zis guns actually being picked up by this Brit player, maybe trying to turn it around really quickly to take out the SWS. No, instead we see it trying to put pressure on this infrared half-track. Oh, even worse, actually putting pressure on the infantry support guns, which is probably a good idea considering the amount of fire they've been taking. Just getting abused. These guys have not been able to do a whole lot this entire map, and although they do have 3 stars veterancy, as well as a Cromwell coming in, I do not see them being too long for this world. And there goes one right now. So unfortunately for them, he buys it pretty darn quickly. And as this gun gets decrewed again, the only thing that might be good for them is they might be able to actually decrew this 2-star infantry support gun, which would be kind of a hit for the OKW players. Then again, being as close as they are with these pioneers, they might be able to force them away. It's going to be a close one, and it looks like they do just in time. Oof, as that Cromwell comes in though too, so this actually might not be too great for 4545. His troops are definitely going to get beat on for quite a bit. This Cromwell, there's absolutely nothing over here to really kind of detract from its dominance. These Panzerschreck squads are going to be the only thing he's really got the opportunity to use. And this infrared half track is going to go down, and there we go. But gives enough time for those Panzerschreck squads to kind of come in here and put fire on this Cromwell, but looks like it's going to go immediately for a lot of crushing. And it is totally doing that, just wrecking guys left, right, and center, putting these squads down to half strength immediately. As the infantry support guys need to redeploy right now, and I'm seeing that actually maybe 4545 might see his army wiped pretty hardcore. Luckily for him, though, we do see that his ally over here is doing pretty well against that Soviet player, forcing back a lot of his conscript squads with fairly low health whatsoever, and seeing this 6-pounder get decrewed again. So not too great. Oh, wow, I didn't even see this. For some reason, that Cromwell decided to go in, dive so deep into over this headquarters, trying to take out these 2 Panzerschreck squads, and the combination of that flak emplacement as well as the Panzerschrecks takes it out. So what I thought was going to be a dominant play for the Brit player is not going too well anymore. And right now that Brit player is definitely starved for troops. He is down to 27 army supply. And the support guns, not a single one has been dropped. Not a single one. And almost with a 3-star veterancy over here, what is this? You never really get to see higher veterancies for those infantry support guns, at least I don't. So what do we got? Faster for subsequent barrages. Wow, double shots per salvo, that's pretty intense. And lethality and penetration. Okay, cool. So the targeting is much more accurate moving forward. While we do see a Katyusha over here that might be quite a dominant position over here in the center of the part of the map, we also do have a Panther coming out for our red OKW player. Give me just a second, folks, get a quick sip to slake my thirst. Alrighty. And there we go. So we do see a barrage that's going to be coming in right over here. Good gosh, this Bofors is not long for this world. We see a crazy amount of veterancy for our red OKW, and our purple is not doing quite as hot, but this Bofors is going to go down and probably drop a fair amount of experience among those infantry support guns, and does. But here comes a Katyusha fire in return, and then again, being as far away as they are right now, this may kind of backfire just a little bit. But it does take out one of the infantry support guns, unfortunately for them, not the 3-star. And with them right here by this battle group headquarters, it's not going to be too much of an issue for them. And with this Sheriff Panzer headquarters in the center of the map, although it's pretty easy to take a lot of AT fire, there doesn't seem to be a big push happening in the near future. Then again, what's over here? The AVRE? Yeah, okay. So, not entirely sure how the Brits are going to get back into this. We do see a lot of abuse going on right now. And a lack of really any kind of AT fire other than a single Zis gun is not going to make this too easy for our Soviet player, as well as his troops starting to get carved up by this weight of fire between 2 different players. Even worse, we do see it's going to be a trip cap for the Axis side, 337 and 440 right now, and ticking further, as well as seeing that eastern part of the map get cut off. There goes that fuel for them, which is going to be awful, getting any kind of real let's say anti-Panther opportunities, as well as maybe even being able to pick on those somewhat more exposed Sheriff Panzer headquarters. Even worse for them, though, we do see an Su-85 coming out, which hopefully it's pretty much one of the last gaps, I would say, for them to really kind of turn things around. I mean, that Katyusha, don't get me wrong, is definitely a good idea, but unfortunately for the Katyusha, it's I mean, 7 kills. Okay, let me rephrase. It is definitely a strong opportunity for them, but they're also getting carved up pretty good. And although 4545 doesn't have a ton of veterancy, Urmel does. I mean, good gosh, this man has a Panzer Command tank already out in the field. He's got a 2-star infantry support gun, And he's got a 5-star Volksgrenadier squad. This is going to be a hurting on this Maxim over here in the center. And although there's a second Maxim over here backing them up, I can't help but feel there's going to be some sort of infiltration grenades. Oh, never mind. They get pushed back just in time. But I was saying an infiltration grenade section like right over in here could definitely carve these guys up really hardcore. And I really do desperately want to kind of see the Sturmtiger come out of 4545. And honestly, with an Su-85 on the field, it might be a great idea when you think about it. And there's that Sturmtiger coming out. So while this Maxim is going to get carved up pretty darn good, because Pioneers have been getting close, I do also suspect that these Pioneers are going to get forced away with this Su-85. Although this gun goes down immediately because of the Katyusha. So while the Pioneers have managed to decrew a Maxim gun, we do see a fair amount of fire coming back the other direction from that Katyusha. But of course, even as I say that, this Su-85 gets forced back, and maybe we might even see the 6-pounder get dropped over to the OKW player. Finally. So we do see shock rifle coming out for the Soviet troops, but it might be too little too late. Right now it's 21 minutes in, and they are down almost to half of what the Axis players have. Even more disturbing is the fact that right now, even though this grenade's going to go off, and oh my gosh, almost wipes that squad, is he going to get away just in time? He does. The British player is a shadow of his forces right now, and honestly it's not going to go too well either with these shock guards going down. So brutal losses being, oh my gosh, being suffered by that poor Soviet player. We do see he has teched all the way up with Tank Battalion Command, as well as that, oh gosh, what's that called again? Mechanized Armor Compania. But that is not going to be enough to force away this wave of German troops. We see already these Obersoldaten have 29 kills, 30 kills with those STGs, and even though they're going to get forced away in just a second here, and just back up, you fool, please. There we go, thank you. We do see that the Allies have been pushed pretty much right back into a little pocket up here in the north. We might see another Katyusha barrage that could clear away this front part of the map. But with the troops the way that they are right now, and the Sturmtiger moving up, as well as this Panzer command tank, oof, I don't know what to tell you guys. This is an AVRE waiting to happen, and what's just maybe it might be a good idea to actually bring in an AVRE right now at the Brits. Nothing else you can really do right now, and here comes that shot, that glorious shot. Oof, and nearly wipes. No, he does wipe. He does wipe that Zisgun by itself. Where is that Katyusha barrage going? I completely missed it, folks. I'm sorry, but at the same time, it looks like he fired it right here in the center part of the map again. Not doing too much. I'm surprised he didn't go for a nice close-in volley right here. He really would have carved up these Volksgrenadiers that are putting a hurt on his ally. Although I will say that the Allies have not worked too well together, I will say that the Germans have managed to actually kind of keep things fairly consistent all the way through. They've been able to kind of keep the map kind of carved up between the two of them. You see all the red troops on one side, all the purples on the other, and even though the reds right now are kind of shifting up through the center, trying to put pressure on these vetted up conscript squads, might be a better idea to put pressure on, yes, on the Su-85, and he wisely backs away. And finally, we do see that AVRE come onto the field. And while the Soviets oorah forward, it may not be quite enough to have a spirit de corps on this particular map. And if a Sturmtiger one more time, gonna come up. Probably, actually, we're kind of interested to see a. Oof, this could be fun actually. Who can fire faster? Might guess the Sturmtiger. And the AVRE is gonna get brutalized. Unless, oh my gosh, he's going for the armor. He's going for the infantry instead. Ooh, and he wipes 2 squads with 1 shot. Oh my gosh, that's brutal. And the AVRE does manage to take that Sturmtiger down to half health with its mortar. But my god. Oh, that's brutal. You see these guys over here just kind of like crying home for their mothers. And it's like Das Verdammt to every single one of them. Those poor bastards. Oh, that was brutal. And now we see a Panzer IV coming in for the German player as well. OKW Urmel over here. Though we do see a Katyusha barrage again on this SWS in the middle of the field. Excuse me, the Panzer. No, don't move that. Don't move the Sturmtiger back in. I don't want you to lose it, my friend. Oh, never mind. But this shot coming back in could be quite devastating. Oh, my God. The humanity. The humanity. Though we do see the AVRE coming up to administer the final coup de grace to this particular headquarters, it may not look it's going to get out too quickly. Indeed, we see it go down to half health almost instantly between the Panther as well as those Panzer Shreks is coming in and just devastating that armor. And although looks like he's going to get an opportunity to get away, and just for a second that Panther says, no, that is my prey. My prey. So for that, the cost of that particular victory, I don't know, guys. It looks like that might be the swan song for the British and the Soviet players on this given map. 140 to 440 right now, a dominant position, and with this base dive from this Panther, we're going to see it take out this AVRE and then neatly take out this Katyusha with absolutely no opportunity for the Brits or the Soviets to really kind of put any kind of AT attack on it. Never mind, that Zisgun over here to the western side kind of forces it away. Zisgun, no. Yes, Zisgun forces it away. If I were the Brits and the Soviets, I do not know why they did not start heaping on a lot more of these weapon racks. I mean, these Bren guns would have definitely turned the fight around in at least the immediate term. This incendiary barrage is coming down. With the addition of a Sturmtiger and the Panzer IV means that it's pretty much over. In fact, it has been over for quite a bit of time. And although those poor Germans do find themselves fried, this attack is going to be kind of a waste. Please just use on the Zisgun. Make this a glorious, glorious thing. Somehow the Sturmtiger is down to 0 kills. Did I miss that? Did he lose that particular Sturmtiger? I don't know, but at the same time we do see that Zisgun gets taken out as well as that bunker. And guys, I'm going to call this one pretty much lost right now. Those poor men have just been dominated, down to less than 100 points, 27 minutes into this game. And the lack of really using those munitions, really on both sides when you think about it, does kind of leave me with a little bit of concern, and for more reasons than one. And the characters have finally that nice close Katyusha barrage, putting pressure and forcing away those Obersoldaten, but it doesn't matter at this point, folks. It is over, all over but the shouting. Thank you so much for tuning into this particular game. I'm going to speed this one up a little bit because I definitely do see this being over. Wow. Definitely a dominant performance by those German players. And you can see a base dive over here, putting pressure on these bunkers and definitely taking them out. I will say, guys, if you have any sort of, and as 2 timers are left in this given map, so let's back down again for a second. That Katyusha has definitely has not bought it yet. It is hiding up here in the corner. If there was a Commissar on this map, I'd be sure he put a one shot through that engine block for cowardice. But guys, we are wrapping this one up. Thank you so much for tuning in to this particular fight night. I will say, if you guys have any sort of replay you want to give to me, let me know in the comments below. As long as I'm to get the same patch as it is right now, I'll be more than happy to check it out and commentate for it. If you guys want me to handle, that Sturmtiger takes out that poor Katyusha in the back, but actually only disables it, so really the Germans could have themselves a Katyusha if they wanted to. If you have a map, though, or a game you want me to take a look at, kind of commentate for it, do let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys. Just leave me a comment in the area below. If you'd like what you see, subscribe, comment, and like the video, and I will catch you guys all next time for another Company of Heroes 2 Fight Night. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Connor signing off.